Good morning. This is a conversational experiment I do on a weekly basis to chat with my 85-year-old future self. I was inspired to do this by Alex Hormozy. He recommended this in a visit video probably 1 to 2 years ago. And ever since, I've been doing a weekly conversation with myself where I just chat back and forth via text. Recently, I thought it might be a good idea to do this over video. It would be automatically logged, and I could look back on it, watch my growth, and potentially other people would be interested in observing. But I think actually the main reason I had this idea was to make it faster. My goal is to have this conversation in 5 minutes or less on a weekly basis, and just have it be a really good habit. So that's why I'm trying out YouTube Live to see if it is a success or not. And honestly, I am not even sure if this is recording or streaming right now. So give me a moment. Oh, I am live. 1 minute and 32 seconds live. Perfect. So on my left side here, I will be my current state, and today's date is April 20th, 2026. And I'll be chatting with my future self, April 20th, 2083. Yeah, 85-year-old self. Good morning. Good morning. I've had a nice, relaxing morning today. I am at La Casella in Italy. I stayed up late last night doing some travel planning and then slept in this morning and continued with my travel planning. I've got a nice plan in place for the next couple months and just did a good deal of thinking about where I want to travel and making sure that it aligns with my life and the direction of my overall life. Good morning. That's awesome. That's something that you've done well is plan and be intentional with where you go and what you do ever since you've started this new kind of self-development journey a couple months ago. So good to see you checking back in on that. What do you think your purpose for existing is? If I recall correctly, we read a book recently about discovering your purpose for existing. What do you think that is? Yeah, I've been thinking about that a lot more. My purpose for existing. So many thoughts have come to mind recently. The main little mantra that I've repeated to myself over and over again is that Kevin Dean lives life to the fullest. He is a loving friend, a compassionate coach, and a charismatic philosopher. And so that really is what I want the crux of my life to be. And I believe that's correct. I have had a lot of thoughts recently come from reading and learning videos and interacting with other people about how that message and that goal makes me feel. Um, I've been interacting with God a lot more, praying, thinking about that, thinking about the prospect of becoming a saint. That's quite an interesting thing to think about. Um, I've also thought about my desire to succeed in the business world, to succeed with a family and friends, and what that all kind of looks like. Wow, sounds like you were thinking about a lot. It's not bad, but oftentimes you don't make progress when you're focused on too many things. What do you think is the most important thing you can pull out of those that you just mentioned? Hmm. Yeah, well, if that was the easy question to answer, yeah. Um, I don't know that I can answer that right now. I do know that the first step, being a loving friend is what I'm really trying to get better at. And I've had a couple interactions recently that have shown my progress to be a loving friend, and I've also shown my lack of being a loving friend. Oh, that's interesting. Tell me more about that. Yeah, so well, when I set out on this journey to come to Italy, one of my big goals was to be a loving friend. I wanted to be present with people, to listen, to acknowledge them, and just be in the present moment and let time sit still for as long as I could make it. I had come from a place of busyness and always on to the next, and I would get to the end of the week and it would fly by. And so my intention was to be super present and to be super loving to the people around me here. And I've definitely been able to slow down. I've been here in Italy for going on like 6 weeks, and it's felt like 3 months in a good way. So that's been great. I've definitely been able to slow down and de stress. I've also been able to be a loving friend. At least I believe that to be the case to the people around me. And I've expressed in a broad sense love, but on a more minute sense, the listening and caring and just having a good jolly conversation back and forth. And so I've definitely been a loving friend. I've made friends. I've connected with people. I wouldn't say that I've made like best friends, but I've definitely connected with people, and I am proud of myself for doing that. That's great. Yeah, being a loving friend is a great foundation to have as you traverse through life. I find myself continuing to struggle to be a loving friend, but the people around you are the most important thing, at least for you personally and for myself personally. The people around you are the most important thing. And when you're able to be present and loving towards them, to express loving kindness, as the Bible would say, then you feel the best and they feel the best. And you are being who you intended to be and who we want to be. Hmm. Thank you for sharing that. It's good to know that I'm on a decent path at least. But yes, being a loving friend. And one additional story to share is I went home last weekend for a wedding, to for my family, for my cousin's wedding. I went home and I got to visit my family, and my goal was to be that loving friend in the presence of my family. But I immediately felt myself slipping back into a state of anxiety, perhaps. Perhaps it's anxiety, but it really just felt like slipping into an old state, an old identity, which I guess would have been anxiety and sort of stress and elevated. And I've got things to do and people to see, and loving you right now is not important. And so as I stepped back into the United States and into the presence of my family, I felt that identity come back into myself. And I'm glad that I recognized it. I couldn't quite stop it. I would have liked to have been able to, but I'm glad that I went there, had that experience, and was able to recognize that, because I think I can now learn from it and try to make sure that I'm loving. Being loving to friends and people is great, but being loving to my family, I think, is the most important thing for me. Yeah, definitely being loving to your family is super, super important. That's been the bedrock of our life, and the family sticks by you no matter what, at least in our family. So that's great. Anything else you want to share today? Hmm. I don't think there's anything else that I want to share. Maybe something that I could ask. I worry that I schedule my life too much. I use my calendar. My calendar is full. It's not great because it's a historical reference of what I do each and every minute, but I'm not sure that it's beneficial for my life and it's something I need to think about. Next week, I'm going to do a cleanse from the computer from my phone, from the internet, a 1 week technology cleanse, see how that goes to be completely unscheduled. Maybe that'll allow me to be extremely present. But what are your thoughts on that being extremely scheduled? There's a balance between getting things done and living the present life. If you want to get things done, we derive success, a feeling of success from accomplishment. But we also derive a feeling of life and living from being present with others. So you can't let one overtake the other. It needs to be a balance. It, yeah, balance, presence with accomplishment combined. It's not an easy thing, and that's what you're struggling with right now. And maybe not struggling, but that's what you're learning about. So keep it up. Keep poking at it. There are things that are more important than others. Make sure you are accomplishing those. Make sure you're being present. Have a good day. Thanks. You too.